Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by Thor. Today's video will be in two parts. And in the first part, I'll be talking about New York morning session, specifically for indices. I'll be talking about what to expect from New York morning session, what to anticipate, and all that. And in the second part of this video, I'll be talking about how to approach the afternoon session, what to expect, what to anticipate, and how to trade the afternoon session. So let's dive in. So in the morning session, before open or during open, 90% of the time, what algorithm will do is it is going to rate one side of the market over the other. Okay, so it is either gonna engage with the buy side liquidity or the sell side liquidity, depends on the bias of the weekly, daily, or intraday. What this means is basically before putting in any kind of trade, you gotta patiently wait for a sweep on liquidity for the morning session. So this sweep usually comes within the first 30 minutes of the market or with the news delivery. So at 8:30, there are usually red folder news, as you might all know. So it either sweeps the sell side or the buy side, and then gives the actual move. So the initial move will be considered as manipulation. So if we look at the charts here, how that's going to look is basically going to be, you can see it here. So this is New York session. Let me mark that real quick. 9:30 right there. So that's 9:30. Let's do it until 2:30. Okay. So this doesn't happen every single session, but 90% of the time, this is what you're gonna have. Okay. So if you're bullish rather, what you're gonna see at open or right before open, or within the first 30 minutes of New York Stock Exchange open, you're going to be seeing an engagement with some sort of liquidity. So in this case, it engages with the sell side liquidity here, okay? So this is the Judas swing. Once it engages with the sell side liquidity, then and only then you can look for an entry to the upside. So you wait for this. This is your approach, and you have to be anticipating an engagement with liquidity before putting any orders. This is very important. You gotta be patient enough to wait for that. Otherwise, you're gonna get stopped. And then later on, probably if you're new, you're gonna be revenge trading and eventually blowing your account. Okay, you have to wait for this sweep. Then you go on the 1 minute chart, 2 minute charts, or the lower time frame charts to find an entry, and targeting the buy side. Or if you have a daily target, weekly target, whatever is the case, you target those highs, and that'll be the morning session. Now, the other 10% of the time, you're not going to be seeing this kind of a setup. But before jumping into that, let me show you another example. This is going to be a bearish example this time. I think here, okay, yeah, here. 9:30 New York EST and 12. Let's do this. All right, 12. This is a rather choppy open, but for the sake of this conversation, what happens is this is 9:30. I'm going to delete that so you can see this wick. So at 9:30, as you can see, it raids the buy side, immediately raids the buy side, and that's your Judas swing. Once it does that, you can look for a short entry targeting the opposite side of the market, which is this sell side right there. Why is this a sell side and not all those? You might be asking that question, and that is relatively new traders would ask that question. If you don't know why I'm looking at this low instead of these lows, it's because this is a swing low point. This is ICT 101, guys. I'm not gonna be teaching swing points. You have to go through ICT's own teachings for swing points, okay? So this is what's gonna be expected from the morning. Buy side is taken when you're bearish. Once it's done, once price engages with the buy side, we'll look for an entry on the lower time frame and target the opposite side of the market. And or if you expect a daily expansion or a weekly expansion, you can target those lows. Now, the other 10% of the time at New York Open, what this is actually this one I covered it on the other video the low resistance liquidity run video. If you've watched that video, 10% of the time, that's what you're going to be seeing. So whenever you're doing pre-market analysis, you're going to be looking at like here, for example. Yes. Let me get back those vertical lines. All right. 930s here. All right, this is 930 candle. So 10% of the time, before New York Open, the algorithm price will already be taking the buy side or the sell side liquidity. So in this case, it's going to be buy side liquidity is taken, right? Once it takes that and breaks lower with a fair value gap, now for New York Open, what you need to anticipate is trading into that fair value gap and then breaking down later on. So what I'm trying to say is basically you do not expect a sweep one more time at open for New York morning session. So in this case, this is 9:30 opening. Let me mark that real quick. Okay. Not that. Here. 9:30 candle, right? Doesn't engage with any liquidity whatsoever. It just goes up, maybe engaging with 1 minute buy side liquidity or 30-second buy side liquidity or whatever, but it doesn't engage with these highs over there, right? That is because the buy side, the liquidity pool, was already engaged at 8 a.m. before New York opens, and it broke below. It broke down, right? Structure shift, kept going at 9:30. Just like gave us like, what is it called? Like retail called this a doji candle, if I'm not mistaken. No Judas swing higher, rating buy side, rating sell side, no engagement with liquidity whatsoever, breaks down. So when this is the case, if you see a sweep with the news or before news 8:30, before 9:30 a.m., what you will be expecting, anticipating is going to be trusting the imbalances in that case. You do not expect a Judas swing into this buy side. That buy side is actually not the correct one because that's 9:30 opening candle. Here, the buy side, you shouldn't be expecting price engaging with buy side to go lower. That's not going to happen because we're already taking the buy side over there. Okay, so this is what you're going to be having in the morning session. And the anticipation is basically you do not want to see a liquidity pool engagement. You want to see a fast delivery on the opposite side of the market, right? So this is the opposite side of the market. These lows, this low, and then maybe a high time frame low here or whatever, all right? So that being said, two things can occur for New York morning session, okay? The price has already engaged with the liquidity pool before New York Open. In that case, you do not expect a Judas swing into a liquidity pool. You expect a fastly mannered delivery to the opposite side of the market, or this is more common. You do not see a sweep of liquidity in one direction or the other. So at open within 9:30 to 10 a.m., you're going to be anticipating a liquidity pool engagement. Like you see it here, it engages with the sell side first to go buy side, right? So this is more common than this one right there because this is low resistance liquidity run example. And this one is usually comes with high resistance liquidity run. As you can see here, it ranges for an hour or so and then it expands higher. So in this case, if you were to long the first fair value gap on the 1 minute or the 30 second, you should be fine with this. But I would be more conservative by taking partials. So this high resistance liquidity run, you're going to be seeing this setup 90% of the time for New York Open, and this one right here engaging with liquidity prior New York Open. Now breaking lower or breaking higher with a fair value gap. This is going to be less common, but more fastly delivered price action to the objective, whatever is the objective. Another note here I would like to mention is, so guys, the morning session is very important to me because it gives me a story for the afternoon session. If I want to be engaged, if I want to be engaging with the afternoon session, I would love to know what exactly morning session did, okay? Because the morning session will usually create the dealing range. What I mean by that is, in this example, so this is going to be with the high resistance liquidity run model, okay? So whenever it engages with the liquidity at or after open, that's the high resistance liquidity run model for New York session. When that happens, it leaves a dealing range for us to trade the afternoon session. This is the buy side. This is the sell side, right? Let me just get rid of those candles so you can see it better. Here. This is the buy side. So from this low to that high is going to be the dealing range. Once you have this dealing range, it becomes easier to trade the afternoon session. But the afternoon session model I'm going to be showing in another video. This is going to be in part 2. So if you want to know more about the afternoon session, stay tuned for that one. I'm planning to upload the part 2 of this video probably on Wednesday this week. So stay tuned for that. And this, knowing how to approach the morning session and the afternoon session is highly crucial, especially if you are if you have a job, if you have a 9 to 5 job. For some of us, for some of you, can trade the morning session, but can only trade the afternoon session, right? Or vice versa. You cannot trade the afternoon session. You can trade the morning session for whatever reason. You're living, I don't know, abroad or whatever. You're not from the United States. The time doesn't allow you to do that or whatever, to engage with the New York morning session. So knowing how to approach different sessions is highly important because they're not going to be acting the same way. You got to be treating the morning session, New York morning session, and New York afternoon session separately. They're going to be completely different. And like I said, this is going to be for the part 2 of this video. I'll be diving deeper in the afternoon session trading, how to anticipate, what to expect, and all that. It's going to be in the part 2. So for today's video, for the morning session video, this is it for now. If you have any questions, please use the comment button down below. I always try to answer all the questions, and if you like what I'm sharing here, please thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm planning a lot of content for this channel. I have a lot of good stuff lined up already, and I'm gonna follow my timeline. Hopefully by the end of by the time I finish my objective with my YouTube channel, hopefully you'll be growing into an independent trader and you'll be able to trade both the morning session and afternoon session. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for staying until the end. I'll see you on the part 2. Peace.